Imagine losing the income you depend on. This very thing could happen to thousands of hard-working retirees in the trucking industry.
In an exclusive Fox 42 News investigation, Steve Saunders spoke with one man who is fighting for his money and claims it's being used up by the people who are managing his pension fund.
Well, I started at 18 years old.
Retired trucker Fred Laurie literally built his life on the open road. For more than a half a century, he did it to provide for his family. He also set aside money for his pension. And in just a few short years, he says that monthly pension check he now so depends on just won't exist.
This was a plan to protect and take care of their people, in which they didn't take care of their people, as far as I'm concerned. If you got a man in there saying it's going broke, then you would look at management.
I'm so angry.
His daughter, Mary Packett, says it's one subject that really stirs up emotion.
He worked hard, didn't take raises at times, and now they're telling him that his own fund is going insolvent. It is absolutely wrong.
She says over the years, the fund did warn its members that it was going broke, but there was just one problem.
They told us in letters that we couldn't understand.
This is the latest document Packett says she downloaded from the fund's website. On page 2, it states, the plan is projected to have an accumulated funding deficiency for the 2017 through 2025 plan years, and the plan is projected to become insolvent in 2025. I asked the fund managers why. They got back to me through email and said the problem is not them. The fund is consistently prudent in managing expenses. If all general and administrative expenses were eliminated moving forward, the fund would still be projected to become insolvent in 2025. Management says there's a $2 billion annual shortfall because of a combination of factors. This includes a change in regulation to the trucking industry, broke employers, and a drop in union membership. It's enough of a shortfall to get a select committee in Washington, D.C. to look into a wider issue of pension insolvency.
But there's nothing in here about, it's not as if there was some sort of mismanagement or, bad acting.
No, not at all.
Right.
But Packett says that's just flat out wrong, that the fund's managers do mismanage the money and spend too much of it on themselves.
When you're finding things like we're finding, there's a lot of things here that are not being addressed.
Specifically, she points to first-class flights. A tax form she gave me shows that under certain circumstances, trustees are eligible to be reimbursed for first-class or business-class travel. Packett says that's not fair.
I mean, this is a fund that's going insolvent, and to manipulate ERISA law to try and just have your life of luxury and cutting these people is just the most atrocious, horrible thing I have ever heard.
But fund managers say the tax form in question is actually a separate account they oversee. It's called the Central States Health and Welfare Fund. Managers say it's not in financial trouble. They addressed the first-class travel in an email and said this represents 2 flights since 2015. The travel was to an educational conference. The health plan permits attendance at educational conferences, and the pension fund reimbursement policy does not. The management team's compensation is reported on that same tax form. Packett points out that the executive director's compensation adds up to $661,298. She says it takes away from the people who paid into it all these years.
This is stuff that nobody's bringing out, and it is just absurd and wrong.
It's why she says she asked the Department of Labor to look into it. Packett forwarded us an email she got in return. It said the evidence didn't warrant an investigation. I did reach out to the Department of Labor myself by phone and email. A spokesperson told me the agency does not talk about investigations at all. Laurie says the DOL is just not doing its job to call out the fund managers.
As far as I can see, it's a lot of mismanagement that happened towards the last from 1982 on.
Packett says it's why she keeps on fighting.
I will not stop until the wrong is made right.
Steve Saunders, Fox 42 News.
Now, it is important to note that fund managers do acknowledge that some expenses are shared between the related pension and healthcare funds. Management did not specify exactly which expenses